All right, we are live. I see attendees coming in. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to our first masterclass of 2023. I can't believe it feels like a dream saying 2023. What an amazing year filled with promise, opportunity, and hope. Wow, wait, Glennda, I'll tell you, you have got a strong following. We've already got over 200 people in this Zoom. And that number is just going up and to the right. Hey, y'all, as you come in, look at this. Where is Glennda? They already are trying to get me to stop talking. Jump in the chat and tell us where you're from. Where are you joining from today? We're going to give everybody just a minute or two. I'll go first. I'm joining from Austin, Texas. There we go. Dallas, Michigan, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Asheville. All right, it's going faster than I can read at this point. That's amazing. I love people that use emojis. Like, I need more emojis in my life. I feel like life would be better with more emojis. Unreal. Okay, this is amazing. Again, hey, for those of you just joining, welcome. My name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm the Vice President of Real Estate and Mortgage here at Ojo Labs. We are excited to host for you our January Masterclass, starting off 2023 with quite literally a real estate celebrity. The information in this hour is going to be amazing. You're going to want to take notes. And the great news is we're going to record this. We're going to send it out at the end because it's going to be packed with information. And we're about to get started. So here we go. Little housekeeping, and then I will not hold you back from Glennda any longer. Here's the deal. We're here for an hour, 57 minutes as of now. I'm going to turn it over to Chris momentarily. Chris is going to interview Glennda for probably 45 minutes. Go ahead and post any questions that you have. There's a Q&A button right here at the bottom of your screen. Post your questions in there. In the last 10 minutes, between 45 and 55 minutes, Glennda and Chris will do Q&A. Anything you want to ask Glennda, this is your opportunity. And then for the very last 5 minutes, you're going to want to make sure you stay on till the end because we're going to do two amazing things that we started doing. One is we're going to give away free Ojo merch. Everybody loves merch, especially when it's free. So stay on. You got to be on at the end to win the merch. The second thing is we're going to do a couple quick tips and tricks to win with Ojo and do any Ojo specific Q&A at the end. So that's it. I'm done housekeeping. I'm going to turn it over to my friend and our Chief Real Estate Officer at Ojo Labs, Mr. Chris Heller, to introduce and lead you through the conversation with Glennda.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for taking the time out of your busy days. I know it's not a big stretch to ask you to do that when we have someone like Glennda on, but we do appreciate you being here live. I had the pleasure of meeting Glennda. Jeremiah, I think it was actually it was 2018 or 19 when you and I were in Atlanta and met Glennda at a little real estate function and dinner. And ever since then, I mean, Glennda, you made such a positive impression then, and you continue to do that now for literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Glennda is one of the top agents in Atlanta, has been for a long time. We'll get into some of her story. She has just blown up, and this hasn't been by accident. Glennda's been very purposeful and very strategic on what she's done, and she's going to share some of that with you. But she has over 850,000 TikTok followers. She's had over 9 million likes. She has hundreds of thousands of followers on all the platforms, and look, we all see social media posts. I really haven't seen anyone that not only posts things that are as entertaining as what Glennda does because of her delivery, but actually good content. And that's one of the keys I'm sure she'll share. So rather than me continue to talk about Glennda, let's talk with Glennda. Glennda, thank you for being here.
Chris, I'm so excited. I literally just about don't know what to do with myself.
Well, we'll give you the opportunity to do whatever you'd like. Why don't you? I've heard this story, but when there's some things that you shared when you first started that really helped you get into business. I'd like to just take our audience through like where you were and now where you are now. Everything from how you got business when you were dating to the post from the Porsche, which watched all the time, and now I want them to understand what your world looks like today too. So,
Oh, Chris Heller, I was just thinking, two of my most memorable stories you witnessed firsthand. But we'll get to those. So my name is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been selling real estate since Jesus was a baby, and that's about 31 years. And it'll be 31 years in September. And when I was a new agent, I lived in an apartment in a rental, and I wanted to sell big fancy houses. And I had a small child, and I would put that baby in the car and drive over to this fancy neighborhood. And I would stroll that baby, and I would wave at the neighbors. And I didn't have any money, but I had gone through the MLS. And y'all, this is when the computer screen was like black and the little thing like flashed and the words were green. I mean, this is a gazillion years ago. And I pulled up all of the information about every single house. So when I would walk down the street, I would wave, and they would obviously wave back, and I'd say, "Hey, Susie." And they'd be like, "Oh, hey." And I'm like, "I'm Glennda, the real estate agent." And everybody just assumed that I lived there. And I didn't. I lived in some shitty apartment around the corner. And oh, sorry if I wasn't supposed to say a bad word. But
no
anyway,
worries.
so I digress. But anyway, so what happened was that I just realized that I read a book, How to Develop a Six-Figure Income in Real Estate. It said, start a farm. And I started a farm. And then when I got some money, I started sending out newsletters. One thing that I did, though, when I was brand new was I previewed all of the houses in that neighborhood. And I started September 4th. And in December, I was agent of the month because I listed a $950,000 house in that neighborhood where I walked my baby. So, and, my business has continued to evolve because I feel like I have continued to evolve. I'm not a dinosaur. I'm not stuck in my ways. I don't think I'm smarter than anybody else. I don't think I know everything. I think that there is an opportunity to learn. And what I feel like maybe has been my secret sauce is my ability to pick and choose what successful agents are doing and Glendify it, make it really specific to me. And so I think that that's kind of been the secret sauce, but this video thing has been amazing.
So Glennda, I heard in the, what you just shared, but I've also heard in other things you've shared that one is you have continued to evolve, and I've got to witness it firsthand, and it's been fantastic. But you also have, from the very early part of your career, had this desire and this drive, and you didn't let what your circumstances or what anyone might think of you get in the way. And that seems to get in the way of a lot of agents.
Well, I think you're right. I think that I have always believed in myself and my abilities. And if I probably had to kind of think through and narrow it down, I was the last kid picked on the playground. And when I found a playground where I played well and did well, I was intentional about everything that I did. And I'm not educated formally. I barely made it out of high school. I didn't go to college. But what I did understand was if I knew all of the data about every single house, nobody ever asked me, how long have you been selling real estate? Nobody ever asked me, how many houses have you sold? Because when I walked in, I was so prepared because I had looked at all of the numbers. I had looked at all of the houses. I knew what color the dining rooms were. And when I was sitting at a listing presentation, I'll never forget, I'm sitting in a listing presentation and they didn't reference 123 Banana Street. They said, "Oh, is that Bobby and Susie's house?" And I was like, no. Bobby and Susie, they live on the white house on the corner. This is John and Joni's house. And so not only did I know it by the street, I knew it by the owner. And so what I realized was then they were like, oh, that's right. That's right. And so nothing accelerates credibility faster than proof. And for me, just knowing the data gave me the confidence. And when you can provide clarity and certainty for the consumer, they have the confidence and they're comfortable to make a decision. And so that's really kind of how I hacked the system.
Yeah, I hope everyone wrote that down, and if not, you'll get in the recording. But credibility, knowing the inventory, knowing more than the consumers know is so key. And a lot of agents, I think back then, and I was around back then, we didn't have a choice, and we were the source of information, so we had to know it. Now, I think a lot of times there's so much information out there, it's hard for agents, or agents don't slow down enough to really learn it. How did you, let's get into social media. How did the posts from the Porsche, and if there was something earlier than that, let me know, but how did that like start? And obviously it started to catch on because it kept going.
So, you know, and this is a story that you've heard, and looking back, if I had to say what was like my first online experience, it was probably Match.com, and realizing that being exposed to so many people, that there was something there. And so I was on Match.com, I was divorced, and I would go out with somebody and it wasn't a love connection. And I would say, you know what? It's probably not a love connection for you either. But, you know, you're going to find Mrs. Right. And when you do, I hope you think about me as your real estate agent. And so I sold 27 houses just from Match.com. And I always thought to myself, if business gets bad, I'm going back on Match.com. My stars and stripes. And now I've got Tinder. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you're looking to prospect now and you're single, go on Tinder. But anyway, I digress. That's another story. But that video has 4.2 million views, that Tinder tip. Okay, but we'll get to that in a second. So I was doing posts from the Porsche. I got worked up at this inspector. It had been raining for 3 days in Atlanta, Georgia. And this inspector puts in the report to have a mason specialist come out and look at the brick because it's moist. You want to talk about somebody's head spinning around and snot flying out of their nose? I lost my damn mind. I was like, well, of course it's wet. It's been raining for 3 days. Please tell me my people didn't pay you $600 to come out and tell them that. And really, I just needed somebody to talk to. I needed somebody to vent it all out. And I was like, I think I can do that Facebook Live thing. And so sure enough, I went on my Facebook and pushed the live button and talked about the experience with this inspector. And one of the people that was my friend on Facebook said, you should call this posts from the Porsche. And sure enough, anytime that I wanted to like get something out, or I wanted feedback, or I wanted to talk about something, like I could talk to my friends on Facebook Live. It was awesome. And I loved it. And that was kind of how the video thing started. One day I was all worked up about something. I was in my damn rollers. And here I am in my rollers, no makeup. And I am, you know, locked out of a house. The agent didn't turn on the lockbox. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. And I get on this Facebook Live. That video still to this day has probably the most views of any Facebook Live video I did, because what people are biting into with me is that I am the everyday real estate agent. I'm not selling $40 million penthouses. I'm not selling $100 million homes. I am Glennda Baker, a 56-year-old real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia, selling $150,000 townhomes, $9 million houses, and everything in between. And so I think that that's why people, you know, bite into my content, is because I'm real, I'm relatable, I'm relevant, and I'm reliable. And I think that people see that in me.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I agree. There's a lot of people at this stage. I don't think there's anyone on here or watching this or listening to this that doesn't understand that social media is a great tool to use. And everyone understands that the value of posting content and everything else. What people don't understand, at least my belief, is what type of content and what should they be doing and what helps their real estate business. Share what you've learned, through this evolution that you've gone through.
Sit down, grasp tightly, and listen to me when I tell you. It is not about virality and vanity. It is about value and visibility, period. I'm going to say it again because I want you to hear me. It is not about going viral. It is not about vanity or ego post. It is about providing value to your audience and being visible to your audience, period. We started this year, we started last year, a two-pronged sourcing. So what triggered their action and where were they in my world? Were they on my tennis team? Were they in my social media? Were they in my farm? Were they a past client? Like, where was this person in Glennda Goes Global? And then what triggered the action? Because what I want to do is I want to be able to duplicate it. And if I don't know where they came from, I can't duplicate it. So what we found was that Sandra Chung says, hey, Glennda, my name is Sandra. I live at 123 Banana Street. I saw you. Thanks. I want to talk to you about listing my house. Great. That's awesome. Can I ask you a question? What triggered your phone call to me today? I've been following you on TikTok for several months, and you posted a video today about that the market is changing, and it has accelerated my plan to sell my house. So I've never met this woman. She's been following me for months. I have no idea she exists in the world. And I found out what triggered her to call me and what video it was. That is how granular you want to get to understand. And it wasn't the video about once upon a time I sold a big ass house that got her to call me. It was literally the video that talked about the market is changing. Pricing for sellers is adjusting, it's normalizing. If you ever thought about selling, don't wait, because my crystal ball is foggy every day except today. And today I can tell you how much I can get you for your house, and it may not be that much in 90 days. And so that's where I want people to understand. It's not about going viral. It's not about vanity. It is about value and visibility.
Yeah. And I think, which makes total sense, when you deliver value and visibility, those other things will happen when they happen as a byproduct. But for our businesses, it is all about value. And I think that not only applies to social media, but to any communication that we're having, whether it's the email marketings we do or the video emails that we send out, they have to be packed with value. People see you so much now on social media. I always wonder, do they think, well, this is all she does full time? That she's not, no longer needing to sell houses. And I know that's not the case, but share about, what your world looks like and how you've really married the two to build even a bigger and better business.
So you got to time block, and you got to frame out a strategy. You've got to have a plan, because if you don't, you're going to be like floundering everywhere. So for me, I shoot content once a month. I shoot for 11 hours, one day a month, and that gives me enough content for a whole month. Okay. Because today, if I was worrying about, oh my gosh, what video am I going to post today? I had to show a house at 9 o'clock this morning. I had a mastermind call at noon. I'm talking to you guys at 1 o'clock. I've got a listing appointment at 2:45. I've got a charity event at 6:30. Like, I live in the real world. And so if you don't plan out when you're going to shoot content and when you're going to post it, it's not going to get done. And people say, oh, it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Bullshit, it's about both. You got to be consistent, and you got to be intentional and intense about what you're doing to make a difference. If you're just splattering it up, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, here, there, maybe, kind of, sort of 9 a.m., 12, 3, whatever. If you don't have a plan, don't expect the followers to have a plan to follow you.
Yeah. And I think that's so key. What have you learned about content and posting and your schedule of posting?
So I have a person that works at TikTok that works with me to help me understand what is going on in my account. And so TikTok, their words, not mine, is that my account is the stickiest account in the real estate space. So when someone follows me, they don't unfollow me. Okay. Also, 40% of people watch start to finish. Now you're like, oh, 40%, that's not very much. The average TikTok video is watched 9 seconds. To get 40% of the people to finish a video that is sometimes over a minute is crazy, they say. So what you want to do is you want to be able to put out there the value. They're not coming to your social media for real estate porn. If they want to see beautiful houses, nobody has better. The Playboy of real estate is Zillow. I mean, come on, give me a break. I mean, they're not coming to you to look for beautiful houses. They're coming to you to look for information that they can't find on Zillow and they can't find on Google. And you're like, but Glennda, you can find any information on Google. No, you can't. Because I guarantee you, Google or Zillow or any other big box online person can't tell you what the value is of a master bedroom on the main floor in Cobb County. Because 46% of the people that live in Cobb County are over 62 years of age. So the primary bedroom on the main level gives them the ability to age in place. And you're not going to find that on Google. So if you're not controlling the narrative of your community, you're not controlling the narrative of your business through video, 90% of all consumed content within the next 3 years is going to be video. Embrace it. You look like what you look like. You sound what you look like. You need to show the world that you're an expert and be granular and be local about your business. That's why people come to you, because you're giving them information that they can't find somewhere else.
And I assume, which is not a big stretch, that the reason your videos are so sticky and that you do have that type of impact is because people are you're delivering value and people are getting value.
Well, yeah, they better be.
Yeah.
And I'm engaging with them. So think about it. If you posted a video and you had, 15 people comment and you didn't respond to any of the comments, it's literally like me talking to you and you not even talking back to me. Like, that pisses me off. This is the deal, is I can't respond to all 4,000 comments on my video today. I can't do it. But what I can do is I can respond to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those comments. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, she responds. So that gives them hope. She's going to respond to me one day. And even when the people get a little sassy in the comments, I sass them right back because I believe what I say. And they want to know that you are real, that you believe what you say. If you just like wilt like a flower when somebody gets sassy with you, did you really believe what you said? So you got to live. People want reality, not scripted reality, real reality. So you need to be vulnerable and you need to be like multifaceted in your approach. So if you went on my social media, it's not just about 123 Banana Street. It's not just about how to buy a house. It's about where I sit at church. It's about some horrible date I went on. It's about my mother used to poke some lady in with her hat pin while she was in church because she didn't like her. There's all these different facets of your personality. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. People do business with people like them. And when they can relate to you, everybody knows I love professional sports. I love basketball. I love NBA. And so my deal is I want people, when they think about real estate, to think Glennda Baker. In NBA, if you watch NBA, you think about 3 people: Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Think about it. Those three guys have the majority of the attention in NBA. I want, when people think about real estate, whether it's in Atlanta or anywhere in the country, I want people to say, Glennda Baker is the voice of real estate. And that is my one and only goal, whether it is buyer, seller, consumer, or agent. I want everybody to say, wait a minute, Glennda Baker is the voice of real estate. That's my one goal.
So Glennda, question, obviously you get direct business off of what you're doing because you're doing it so effectively. How else do you leverage what you're doing online, in the analog or the offline world?
So live events change lives. The fact that I'm willing to host a dinner, be in New York, I bet you I've got 20 DMs from Instagram from Susie in Sarasota, Nancy in Nebraska, Debbie in Dallas. Hey, Glennda, I'm going to be at Inman. I'd love to grab coffee with you. I want those people to know that I'm available to have coffee with them, because I want people, they always say, oh my gosh, you're exactly like you are in your videos. I am. This is me. I want them to know that, because it goes back into the credibility. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, and nothing accelerates credibility faster than proof. And when they see me in person, I want to inspire, impact, and inform. My whole deal is leveling up the real estate agent community so that we are all amazing, that we are all controlling the narrative of our community, that not some pundit or some talking head on some national news thing is telling you or your consumer what they should think about real estate. That's your job.
Yeah. I love it. I've many of us have seen, how real you are on your posts. I'm sure that there's been some that have cracked you up and some that have made your skin crawl with embarrassment. I'd love to have you share some stories of either really funny things that happened or things that were really embarrassing.
Well, I mean, probably the most embarrassing thing that happened to me last year, you were like firsthand witness to. I'm in Dallas speaking at this event. These people paid me a boatload of money to come and speak. And it's two guys that own this mortgage company, and they're both tall, handsome guys. And I get their names mixed up, and I go through my entire presentation and I'm talking about this guy, and I'm like, and Trent this, and Trent that, and Trent this, and Trent that. And I finished my presentation, 45 minutes, and he walks up to me and he goes, I'm Jeff. And I'm literally like, this did not just happen to me. Like, this is not my life. But this is the thing. I've sold the wrong house. I talked about millennials couldn't make a decision, and the millennials jumped on me like you cannot believe. When I did the video about selling the wrong house, so many people in Atlanta, so many agents in Atlanta reached out to me and said, this video thing that you're doing, because that was shoot 2. So that was posted in November of 2020. So many people reached out and said, Glennda, that is not a good look. You should not be doing that. And so many people reached out to me and said, all these real estate agents are following you. Do you realize that? They're going to rip off what you're doing, and they're going to do it. And this is the deal. I hope I inspire people to make video, because we as real estate agents need to take our industry back from people who are not real estate agents. But then also, like, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And it is that post to be perfect that people can't relate to. They just can't relate to it. And while you want to post your picture in front of your Lamborghini, I'm sorry, but Bobby and Susie and their 2.5 kids aren't getting in your Lamborghini. And so, it just, to me, I find power in in posting the things that are real about me, because I certainly don't want Julie, the real estate agent with ABC Realty, telling somebody, oh, well, you know that Glennda Baker, she's a horrible real estate agent. She sold the wrong house. Well, now Julie can't say anything about me because I've already outed myself and explained it. And so that's the thing, is like being
Did Glennda freeze for anybody else or just me?
No, I think Glennda froze. I thought I froze. So
I thought I froze too.
So she'll be back momentarily, I'm sure.
All right.
I'm going to text her right now.
Okay. The and again, Jeremiah mentioned this at the beginning, but for any of you joining later, put your questions in the Q&A, because we'll definitely get to those. And I'm sure you guys will come up with better questions than I do. So I won't be shy about going to your questions.
There's a couple of good ones in there now, Chris, that I think when Glennda comes back, they're kind of focused towards like, what kind of gear does she use? Is she using teleprompters? Like, who's doing her video editing? And I would love to hear Glennda respond to those.
All right. I will get to the ones in the Q&A. If there's other one, I'm not monitoring chat. So if there's any in chat, let me know.
Yeah,
or maybe copy and paste them into.
I got you.
We'll see if there's weather in Atlanta or it's just the internet.
Glennda brought so much energy, she crashed the internet in her neighborhood.
Hey, Jeremiah, anything that you're going to share at the end that you want to share right now?
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So, hey, we'll call a audible on the fly here until we get Glennda back, and whenever she comes back, I'll stop. But a couple of quick tips and tricks, which, by the way, you know what? This is a great spot. If you're still here, go in the chat and just type, I'm still here. That's it. There's almost 400 people that are still here. Go in there, type, I'm still here. Now, if you go in there and you type, I'm still here, at the end of this, Julie, Jenna, and our team here at Ojo will go through everybody that typed, I'm still here, and we'll randomly select a few people and we'll send you some Ojo merch. So make sure you type, I'm still here. So second is, I'll give you a couple Ojo tips and tricks. One of the things that we hear a lot from agents is, hey, wait a minute, why did you send me this lead? And it's funny, right? Because we get an agent that calls us and they're mad and they're like, you just sent me a lead and the customer is looking at a house that is under contract. The house is sold and you sent me the lead. And we're like, yeah, we did. And the interesting thing about that is we also get agents that are like, oh my gosh, you guys, this is amazing. You sent me a lead. And the person realized that when they're shopping online, they're having to sift through all these homes that are sold and not. And you gave them to me so that I could build my value as a real estate agent and help them understand that I can help them navigate and figure out which houses are sold or not. Thank you so much. So there's a really interesting perspective shift around leads on homes that are sold or under contract. So I want to be clear with you because I see Glennda's back.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Jeremiah. I have no idea what just happened. I had a nervous breakdown.
Well, we don't want that. We don't want to scar Glennda.
No, but I'm here. I'm back. Thank God.
Hey, look at this is real life. This is just like any video or any post you do. This is the real deal.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Sorry about that.
Hey, so Glennda, I could keep asking questions all day long, but we have about 400 people here that have some questions. So I'm going to read some of these to you.
Okay.
So this one says, Glennda, are you always on your videos? I have a hard time doing that. So what would you say? How would you answer that for that person or anyone that has a hard time like being on the videos themselves?
Well, like your people see you, like aren't you in front of people in real life? You're not like hiding behind the door when you're talking to people. So like get out there. I mean, you are who you are. You look like what you look like. The thing about it is that for them to like, bite into your content, I truly believe they have to see you.
Yeah. Oh, did you freeze
I'm
again?
still here.
Okay.
No, I'm
okay.
here.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. All right. Yeah. And I agree. I can agree more actually. And I think we can't be secret agents, and we just need to get over ourselves about how we look. If I can go on stage wearing the same outfit that they have in the promo pictures of me coming to speak, you can go on video. The question about just some logistics, like hardware and equipment you use. What if for someone who's really wanting to put some effort into this, any suggestions or recommendations on that?
So I use my phone in all of my live videos. I don't want people to be paralyzed because they don't have a Denver. I want people to do the videos, whether it's in your car. I have posts from the Porsche. I have keeping it real in the kitchen. I have dish from the dining room, opinions from the office, live from the living room. I love alliterations, but wherever you feel comfortable shooting the video is where you should shoot it. I will give you a little tip. Do not do any video in a moving car because none of the platforms will push it out. They'll suppress it. So don't be in a moving car. But like Eveline, who works for me, she has tips from the Tesla. Elizabeth has news from the Nissan. You could do like advice from the Acura. So the thing about it is that do it wherever it's comfortable for you. But I think that you don't need a Denver, you don't need a production team. My Stars and Stripes, it's 2023. Use your phone.
All right. And that leads into another question that I think a couple of people have asked is, they want to get started, but, do you use a video editor, and do they need a video editor, and how do you find them, and those type of things?
So Denver is a predator. Denver produces, shoots, and edits for me. Okay. As I said, you don't need a Denver because all you have to do is take the video, send the same video to 5 different people on Fiverr. Give them a scope of work. This is what I want. Don't send 5 different videos. Let me repeat myself. Don't send 5 different videos. I want you to send the same video to 5 different people. Whoever understands what you want, work with that person. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And that's not your zone of genius. Your zone of genius is being a real estate agent. Don't waste your time trying to edit it.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, Fiverr is a site where there's, for almost anything you need done, there are contractors and thousands and 10,000s of them, and they'll bid and they'll do the work and show you their examples. And then you can choose one of them. And it's usually very economical too. Let's see, another one. Okay, for someone just starting, like they're just starting, give us 2 or 3 tips or ideas, like to help them get out of the gates.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to make a triangle. I want you to make a triangle between where you work, where you live, and where you spend the most time. Is that the gym? Is it church? Is it where your kids go to school? Make a triangle. Know all of the houses in that area. Well, Glennda, I'm brand new. Go preview them. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come back and I want you to get on video and say, today I had the opportunity to look at an amazing house in the Walton High School District. It's the #1 ranked school district in this county, and it's number 13 in the country. 10 students from Georgia were accepted into Stanford University. 5 of them went to Walton High School. Okay. So I want you to be able to talk like that, because when you are certain about what you are saying, then you have confidence and you're comfortable. So you're going to say, I had the opportunity to see 123 Banana Street today, or you don't have to put the address if it's not your listing. If you do put the address, make sure that you have permission of the listing agent. So I had the opportunity to see 123 Banana Street. My 3 favorite things about this house were, the reason that I think somebody is going to buy this house is because blank. So again, you're giving them information that they cannot get from ChatGPT, that they can't get from Google, that they can't get from, Zillow. Why is somebody buying that house? Why is somebody buying that area? If you're brand new, make your triangle, know all the houses in your triangle. That way you can speak on video and you can speak in person intelligently about those properties.
I love it. Love it. Great idea. So here's a question that probably more than one person is curious about. When you do your 1 day of production in creating all your videos, and I actually know the answer to this, but do you change clothes for each video?
Yes, and not for each video. I typically have 7 to 9 outfit changes. And the way that they're organized in the Google Drive, it'll say shoot 24, wave 1. Wave 1 is me in the black shirt. Wave 2 is me in the pink shirt. Wave 3 is me in the blue shirt. So they're organized like that. I feel like I don't want 10 videos stacked on Instagram or TikTok that are me all in a black shirt. I want them kind of mixed up so it looks like I'm changing with the days. That's why I do it like that. And then the other thing, Chris, and you didn't ask me this question, but I'm going to give you a hack. Can I do that, or you want to wait?
Please, please.
Okay. So on my phone, I have a Google form. And on that Google form, it says idea, inspiration, and what do you want to say about this? So if I have something that crosses my mind that I want to talk about, so I want to talk about that these guys, I showed this house this morning, and, the guys were a little uncertain about it. And one of them turned around and looked at me and said, "Hey, Glennda, would you buy this house?" And I said, I am going to buy this house if you don't. Every day, all day, and twice on Sunday. And I want to tell a story about that. So in my phone, I put down 123 Banana Street. Would I buy this house? And this is what I want to say in this video. Submit. It goes into a Google Sheet. We open the laptop when Denver gets here, 8:30, and we go down the list. You wanted to talk about 123 Banana Street and why you would buy it if your client didn't buy it. You want to talk about the townhome that you showed up at the inspection and the adjacent unit was on fire. So you want to tell the story about that. So easy, 3 things on your phone, put it in a form, put it in a Google Sheet. And then when you sit down to do video, you have all of your ideas right there.
I love that. And that way, as things come up every day, all day long, you don't have to try to remember them next month when you go to shoot. You have them right there.
Exactly.
Here's a question. How many of your videos deal with personal versus business?
Well, so this is a great question because I felt like that all of my videos were real estate related, that I didn't have enough personal. And Denver said to me, he goes, "Do you realize that about 70% of the videos that you post are your personal experience?" And I didn't realize that. So I think that this is what leads to the sticky, is that it really happened. It really happened to me. And so it's my personal experience, whether it's real estate or whether it was that horrible date. I mean, I'm still on the floor about that horrible date. And I wanted to tell you about this. So I posted that video, and that I have Tinder tips on Tuesday. And so I posted that video on TikTok, and it has maybe 690,000 views. I also posted it on Facebook, and it has 4.2 million views. Oh. The engagement, though, on TikTok is much higher. So that's why and even though there's 25% of the views, not even, the engagement is much higher. So that's what when you guys are posting, I want you to like notice what is your audience biting into and do more of that. Okay. So what would you tell your best friend? What would you tell your best client? What would you tell your therapist? Those are your buckets of content. And then sprinkle those, see what your audience is engaging with, and do more.
And that is key, right? To be watching and seeing what's working. Do you post the same videos on the different platforms?
So I do not post the same video on the same day on any platform except this new series, Tinder Tips. And this Tinder Tips series, it's Tinder Tips on Tuesday because I love an alliteration. So that's why it goes out on Tuesday. But I only post it on TikTok and Facebook because there are no two polar opposite social media platforms like TikTok and Facebook. So that one video has gotten me, I don't know, 11,000 new followers on Facebook. It's opened up a completely different demographic. So, and even though I'm getting like roasted in the comments, it's really, getting people engaged. And that's really what I want to do.
So if I heard you right, you may post, in fact, you probably do post the same video on multiple platforms, but never on the same day. You'll space them out.
You're correct.
Yeah.
All of the videos cycle through all of the platforms, but never on the same day. And I did this series, that I was just going to do on LinkedIn. Because those people over on LinkedIn, they're uptight. And, I felt like I needed to be all buttoned up and, hello, my name is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you'd like to buy a house in Atlanta, let me tell you what you should look for. And that shit did not perform at all. Like 4 likes, like 3 views. And I was like, I don't think they like that. And then I posted, once upon a time, I sold a big ass house and it had like thousands of comments. So that was the thing that was like really kind of in my head. I was like, oh, wait a minute. They want me to be me no matter where I am. That's what people like.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you, this question says, do you have a buyer presentation or consultation system that you use? So I'll let you answer that, but I have a follow-up question to that.
So the question is, do I have a listing presentation or a buyer presentation that I use?
A system, like is there, have you sort of systematized it, I think is what they're getting at.
Okay, so yes, there is a system, but remember, I'm like 800 years old. It's in a Google sheet. And so, I have a system and a process for everything. Like right now, like I have my listing appointment at 2:45. Like I have this 11 by 17 big ass spreadsheet. I also have it on my laptop. This is really a great tip. Don't tell anybody this. So before I go on a listing appointment, I do recon on the seller to understand if I'm doing the Price Waterhouse presentation or the beauty pageant presentation, because the Price Waterhouse analytical driver doesn't want to hear all about my beautiful flyers, but the expressive, amiable person wants to know all about the drone photos and the gazillions of beautiful photos and videos and floor plans. So I do recon so I know who I'm presenting to. And so then that way, when I walk, hello?
Well, Glennda, I was going to say, when you say recon, are you checking out their social media? What are you doing to get
stars? I totally left the best part out. So there's this Chrome extension called Crystal Knows, and it's CrystalKnows, Crystal Knows. Okay. And you literally put it as an extension on your LinkedIn. And so I can literally look up Chris Heller and it tells me what his disc profile is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I know that when I'm presenting to you, I need to present to you in bullet points, because if I don't, you're going to like, you don't care. You want to know, okay, this is what she's going to do. This is how much my house is going to sell for. And this is how long it's going to take. And that's what you do.
Got it. Got it. I know we're getting close to time. Jeremiah, are there any good questions that I've missed, or any that you have for Glennda?
There's a question that we had when we announced that you were coming, Glennda. Apparently, you talk about real estate investing quite a bit, and you've got a bit of a passion about investing. And so there's a question about like young investor just getting started. What are your best tips? Is the market going to crash? And, maybe tips or tricks for trends to look out for this year as an investor.
Everybody asks me, when is the best time to buy? The best time to buy is 5 years ago. The sooner you can get to 5 years ago is when you need to buy. Oh, but Glennda, the market is high. Do you know what? There isn't any house that I've sold in the last 30 years that is not worth more today than it was for the day that I sold it. As long as you don't put yourself in a position to have to sell, that house will always be worth more when you want to sell it, because you'll sell it at the height of the market. Do not let prices stop you from buying a house. You think I'm bullshitting you. I'm totally serious. I showed a house today, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. If my clients do not buy that house, I've already spoken with my lender. I will buy that house today. Do you think I care that is it overpriced? Probably. Maybe 25. It's a $500,000 house. Maybe 25 to maybe even $50,000. But would I buy it all day, every day? And so if you want to get into investing, buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. Buy a house. I do not like to buy in HOAs. I never buy in an HOA because I don't want anybody to be able to dictate what I can do with my property. And I encourage, do not say, oh, I have to buy a $500,000 house. The first house that I ever bought was by myself was $72,000. I did $55,000 worth of work and I sold it for $295,000. Okay. I wish I had held on to every house I ever bought, because what most investors don't understand is that you're saying, oh, well, you 72, 55, let's just say I had 125 and it's easy math. You sold it for 295, praise the Lord, and pass the money. But the value over that $125,000 investment over my lifetime far exceeded the $150,000 that I made like that. Because had I held that property and rented it out, that property over my life is worth $2 million. So I am very much buy and hold. If you need to buy and sell to get capital to buy and hold, then do that. But buy the absolute worst house that you can find in the best neighborhood for the least amount of money. Put some sweat equity in it. My favorite is grandma's house for the original homeowner, because grandma may be living there with shag carpet and flocked wallpaper, but she damn sure isn't living there without an air conditioner, without electrical, without plumbing, without a roof. Grandma always takes care of the infrastructure. So that is my best advice for somebody who wants to invest in real estate.
Love it. Love it. 2 quick questions. Do you have a YouTube channel? And when you post on, for example, on Facebook, are you doing it on your personal page or only on a business page, or both?
I only post on my Facebook personal. I think it shares to my Facebook business. Facebook business is absolutely a relic. I have absolutely no idea why I even have it. Post on Google. Yes, I have a YouTube channel. No, it's not optimized the way that it should be. If I was focused on YouTube, which I'm not right this very second, but I am going to focus on in Q2 of this year. If I was focusing on YouTube, I would really, really dive into the attributes of communities in the area where you sell. Super duper granular. So I live in Atlanta, Georgia. That's big. I live in East Cobb. That's still big. I live in Marietta. That's still big. But I live in Atlanta Country Club. Why do people want to live in Atlanta Country Club? Who buys houses in Atlanta Country Club? What are the houses like in Atlanta Country Club? What is the lot size? What are the attributes? Why are the reasons you would want to live in the Atlanta Country Club? That is what I would talk to people about. And I would do that. I would rinse and repeat in every single neighborhood in your community. YouTube literally is the ability to farm exponentially.
Love it. Well, we have like 2 minutes left. Glennda,
well,
I know.
Glennda said she has a hard stop and needs to be in the car in 3 minutes. And I want to make sure I am not the subject of one of Glenda's videos about why she was late for an appointment. So Chris, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, Glennda, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to share these tips. Great ideas. I've written down a bunch of them myself. I'm going to watch this recording again. My team's going to watch this recording. Thank you very much. Go take that listing. We will continue to watch you. If everyone here isn't following Glennda on TikTok, Facebook, and everywhere else on social media, Instagram, make sure you do.
Okay, Chris, can I say one more thing?
Please.
Okay, so I saw somebody ask, what's my Instagram? So everywhere I'm Glennda Baker, GLENNDABAKER. But listen to this. I have hashtagged Google Glennda. So hashtag Google Glennda. And I was on some podcast and this guy is like, oh yeah, right. Hashtag Google Glennda. Like, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, just Google me. And sure enough, I have all of the first however many gazillion pages of Google, just me. So I want you to train social media to Google whoever you are. I want you to hashtag your name. If you hashtag your name, hashtag Glennda Baker, you can then see the cumulative number of views across all of your videos. So I can tell you that Once Upon a Time I Sold a Big Ass House has 10,400,000 views. But I can also tell you that across all of my video catalog, I have over 200 million views. I can also tell you, put Atlanta real estate, hashtag Atlanta real estate, hashtag Dallas real estate. Because if you do that, you can then, but Glennda, I'm going to get lost in there. Atlanta real estate has, and this was the last time I checked, so maybe it's not accurate. Atlanta real estate has 178 views, 178 million views. 151 million of those views are me. So do not worry about, I'm going to get lost in the fray. Hashtag your name, Google your name. So you train Google that you're the only person on Google. And then also hashtag the area where you sell. And those are my final 3 tips for you guys. I'm so appreciative. Chris Heller, I'm just here to tell you right now, you literally are such an icon to me. I mean, like in my life, I remember when I got to have dinner with you and Jeremiah, and I remember telling my girlfriend, I cannot believe that Chris Heller even knows that I exist in the world. And so I am so flattered and so honored that you would have me on your platform. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Go get that listing. We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you. Bye. Thank you. For those of you that are still here, tell you what, that was unbelievable. If I had half of Glenda's passion and energy, wow, I think I would accomplish a lot more in the day. If you're still here with us, say I'm still here. We're going to give you 2 quick tips before we sign off. 1, remember this video is going to be sent out. We're going to send you the recording, share it with your team, share it with your friends, because there's a lot of great content in here. Now, for those of you looking for 2 quick tips to win with Ojo, number 1, remember, new year means new opportunities. A lot of people's plans have changed over the holidays. Go back to those old leads, reconnect with them. This week alone, we've seen a 28% uptick in mortgage applications, which means rates are going down, volume is going up, people are getting in the market and selling and buying real estate. Schedule those face-to-face meetings as soon as you can. Make the right first impression, because you only get one opportunity to make the right first impression. So when you get that phone call, high energy, smile while you talk, put your best foot forward. The biggest mistake that I hear agents make, and remember, we make thousands of live introductions a day at Ojo, is they answer the phone and they go, yeah, this is Jeremiah. I hear you're looking to buy a house here in Austin. Okay, great. Ojo's going to email me the info. Let me look it up and I'll call you back. Don't do that. Please don't do that. We make millions of phone calls to get people on the phone with you so that you can use that as an opportunity to engage with them, impress them, get to know them, and understand them. So please take the opportunity that we have. The best calls, by the way, the best are average about 2.5 to 3 minutes long. So if you don't have something to talk about for 2 or 3 minutes on that first call when we make the live transfer, think about that. Think about what you could talk about. Last thing, you all will have seen a change in our dashboard. Now, there is no longer a release button. If you release a lead, it'll become inactive. This is based on your feedback. What we heard a lot of times, in fact, we have 100 transactions a month that happen at Ojo, where at one point in time, somebody actually released the lead and then the customer called them back and said, hey, I'm ready now, or whatever it is. Now, those leads, you'll be able to search and filter. Just go to the inactive tab in your agent tools, and any of your release leads should be right there. Thanks so much. We so appreciate you. Sorry that we're 3 minutes over, but I'm going to say it was worth it. Please send a note, follow, like, subscribe to Glennda online. We appreciate each and every one of you. You're amazing partners. We couldn't do what we do here at Ojo without you. Thank you, and we'll see you next month.